In this recording, I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to install PyFolding on a Mac. So the first thing we have to do is open a web browser and navigate to GitHub and search for PyFolding. Once we're in PyFolding, you'll see that we have a tab which shows us PyFolding and also a Wikipedia page which is where these tutorials might reside. So the first thing we need to do is go to Setup, and this will explain how we need to install PyFolding on a Mac or a PC. As you can see, the easiest way to get PyFolding to work is to install a program called Anaconda. This installs Python and Jupyter notebooks and other dependencies that PyFolding requires. So simply click on the tab, and you can see we can download it for Windows, which was my first tutorial, or a Mac. So let's go to Mac. Now we require the Anaconda, which runs Python version 2.7, because this is the version of Python which we have tested PyFolding with. So let's download that. So now that we have downloaded an Anaconda, let's install it by double clicking on it. Click through, I agree. Only for me, but you can do a specific disk if you want. And then we go hit install. So now that we've installed Anaconda, what we can do is check its installation by opening up a terminal window and simply typing Jupyter Notebook in here to make sure that it has installed. For some reason, occasionally when you type it in first, it doesn't recognize it. I don't quite understand why, but usually when you type it again, it does. And here we have Jupyter opening up a web browser and ready for us to load a notebook. So that looks like everything has installed correctly. To quit it, we just Control-C it and shut down the Jupyter server. So that looks excellent. So to install PyFolding, we need to go back to the PyFolding site on the GitHub servers. And you can see from our installation protocol here that we need to open up a terminal and then use these commands to install PyFolding. So I've opened up a terminal and I'm just going to use the command pwd to see where we are, and as you can see that I'm residing in my home folder, and that's an absolute fine place to install PyFolding. So let's copy command git, and you can see everything is downloading to install. Then we can cd to PyFolding, and we can install it by putting this command in here. So everything's installed. So now let's check to see if the installation is correct. So if we scroll down here, the easiest way to check that and to use PyFolding is using the Jupyter notebooks which we installed with Anaconda. So in the same window we can pull up a notebook, and to check that PyFolding is working, we're going to navigate to the folder Notebooks, and we want to use PyFolding test. This is what it should look like when everything is working correctly. So let us rerun the notebook to make sure that our installation of PyFolding has worked. So we go to the kernel and we say restart and run all. You can see that it has imported PyFolding and it's running our test where it simulates a two-state folding protein and fits it to a two-state equilibrium model and a two-state chevron model, and it's spitting out the curve as we'd expect, as you saw it before we reran the notebook, and then it's printing out all the models we already have in place. So everything looks like it's absolutely fine, and this installation of PyFolding has worked. In the next tutorials, I will take you through a few more of these notebooks and explain how we can use PyFolding to fit, in our case, folding data, but how you might want to then modify it to fit more complicated ideas.